Hello there, everyone. Shibby here. Hope everyone out there's doing well. And today I'm back with another tier list video, which is kind of well, not a kind of. It is a sequel to the last tier list video I made, where I ranked all of the Resident Evil games. Now I'm going to be ranking a lot, or or at least the majority of the Resident Evil characters, or at least all the ones in this tier list that I could find. Um, I know I'm more primarily a fighting game channel, and I'm just kind of randomly ranking Resident Evil characters. But since Halloween's right around the corner, I just wanted to make something that was spooky in nature. So I figured, why not do something that revolves around my favorite survival horror series? So yeah, that's my justification for why I'm doing this. But yeah, hopefully it's enjoyable on some level. And this is just going to be me ranting about Resident Evil characters as I rank them, of course. So yeah, this is gonna be more of a discussion video. It's not gonna be like cutaways, like gameplay or anything like that. This is just going to be me and my streamless line of consciousness. And I say streamless because I have no thoughts going on in my head. But yeah, we're just going to kind of go in order here and rank them as I see them. Since there's so many characters here, there's probably some that I don't know. So that's why we made the categories that we have. So we got the best characters, great characters, good characters, solid, which is somehow slightly different than good, meh, bad, and just characters that I straight up don't know who they are. So this is how we're going to be ranking them. And feel free to judge me or criticize my dumbass Resident Evil taste. But yeah, that's enough me rambling. And let's actually start putting some characters up on this list. We're just kind of going to go in order from what I see as we shrink down and go along here. But it looks like the first character we've got is Jill. And I think Jill has to go in the best tier. She's probably my second favorite Resident Evil character of all time. So I think I have to put her towards the top because of my personal bias, because she's in all my favorite games. I said this before, but 5 is actually my favorite Resident Evil. So yeah, she's in that. And plus, my favorite of the old school ones is RE1, so got to put her at the top. And speaking of my favorite characters, we're going to put Chris up here as well. And Chris is actually going to go number 1 because he's my favorite character in the entire series. Because I like how just how absolutely stupid and bonkers that they've made him over the course of a series, just from skinny pilot and Stars Point man to man who punches boulder and active volcano. So yeah, he's gonna go at number 1. There's nothing that could ever overtake him in a spot just because of how ridiculous he is. And yeah, also, if I didn't say this already, we're gonna try to order this the best we can. But as there's so many characters, it might be hard. But yeah, Chris, Jill, 1, 2. So next we got Wesker, who wants to ensure complete global saturation. So we got to put him at the best here. Yeah, I mean, again, completely biased to the original cast, and he's my favorite villain in the entire series, especially when he gets all Matrixy with the the powers he manifests over time. So yeah, gotta put Wesker up here as well. And next we got Becca Chambers. I don't know where I want to put her. I think she's a good protagonist. Overall, she's one of my favorites. I know it seems criminal to not put her in the best, because I think she does deserve to go over here. I think she's a good lead in Zero, but she doesn't really get enough time to shine in anything else really, other than a few of the CGI movies. But she's still cool enough to be in the best, I think. So now we got Barry. All right, where do we want to put Barry? I think we can put Barry in great. For right now, I could change my mind later. Barry's cool. He's a pretty interesting character, especially with some of the I don't know if I want to spoil any of the games or not for anyone who hasn't played them, but some of the twists that he gets in the original RE, and then just playing as him in Revelations 2 is actually pretty fun. I really do like his character as kind of gruff old man with a heart of gold. So we're gonna put Barry. We're gonna put Barry in great. All right, who we got next? I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who this is. I can't tell how small the picture is. If that's Carlos's partner in RE3. I don't think it is. But we're gonna put him right here. I can't remember who that is. I know this. I think this dude's from RE1. I can't remember who he is either, or remember his name. So we're gonna put him. Can't remember. All right, I can't remember this guy's name. It's the dude that gets bit by the giant snake, though, in RE1. but that's kind of like his whole purpose. So it's not really, you know, good or bad necessarily, just kind of meh. And this guy's the guy that gets shot like outside like the cave you enter. But again, you know, I can't remember about him honestly. I can't remember to can't wait to not remember who most of these people are, despite being a Resident Evil fan, as I said before. That's a pilot. I think that might be the pilot from RE1, but I don't think it's Brad. I think Brad's somewhere else down here. I might be wrong, but we're gonna put these two down here because I can't remember who they are. All right, we got Leon. Leon's got to go in third, of course. He's the poster boy of Resident Evil, and Leon is cool. Can't deny that. So yeah, he just kind of has to go up here. Leon's too cool not to put in the top 3. I mean, of course. So next we got Claire, who is also the protagonist of 2 and Code Veronica. She's gonna, we're gonna flip flop. I'm gonna admit to saying that I like Claire more than I do Leon, just because Code Veronica is also one of my favorite RE games, and she's protagonist of that. So again, personal bias. I do like Claire's character just slightly more than Leon's, but they're both awesome. I'm not being contrary just because Leon's popular, I promise. All right, so we got Ada. Ada's got to go up here. Who doesn't like Ada Wong? The the double agent of the Resident Evil series. Of course, she's got to go up here, and it's fitting. She's next to Leon. Why not? Do I like her more than Wesker, though? That's the real question. I do like Wesker a lot. Oh, I think I actually got to put Wesker above Ada. Sorry, Leon. But yeah, I think we'll put Rebecca at the bottom of the tier for right now. All right, so now we got Sherry Birkin. But Sherry, we'll put Sherry in great. I think she gets, I mean, she's good in Resident Evil 2, but I think she gets a lot more interesting in RE6, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like RE6, but I do think she's a cool character. I do like our dynamic between her and Jake in that game. But yeah, Sherry overall is good, so we'll put her in great. Now we got William Birkin. Now, do I want to... where do I put him? I'm going to put him in good. I mean, he is an asshole in the in the depths of the story, but I mean, he's an iconic villain, but more not because of like... He's not like Wesker, where there's like a ton of dialogue and grandiose speeches. He's just an iconic monster in Resident Evil lore. And a scientist, so we'll put him in good, just because there's not really, I won't say there's not much to his character, but I don't think as a normal person doesn't shine as much as the other characters will say. And there's Mrs. Birkin. To me, I can't remember her first name, but yeah, we'll just kind of put her in meh. Like throughout the story of 2, like all she really does is shoot Leon. So we're just going to kind of put her meh. I don't really like her attitude or character all that much, from being honest. And speaking of meh, which is not me saying that she's a bad character by any stretch, it's just didn't click with me. Same with Irons. Again, they serve their purposes. They're good as like being scummy people and kind of villainous, but just standing next to the other characters, it just doesn't feel right to put them too high. So now we got, I believe this is Hunk. Which there's not really too many people with helmets like this, so I can't wait to be wrong. But I mean, Hunk is good. I mean, he's just cool, really. There's not really much known about Hunk other than he's just cool looking, just goes in and gets shit done. So we'll put him in good. I think he deserves to be there. We'll put him above Birkin too. Hunk's definitely cooler than Birkin. And then we got Marvin. And Marvin's a good character. He's good in that, he definitely gets a lot more time to shine in a remake. He's a good character. A good, we'll call him mentor for Leon and RE2. But yeah, no complaints about Marvin here. Then we got Kendo now. Which, Kendo and solid. Like, he's not really in RE2 a lot. But, I mean, if you play his DLC where you actually get to play as him, like, protecting his daughter, you get a little bit more insight, which is just more of a, it's more of a what-if scenario, but he's solid. No complaints. And then we got Kendo's daughter, I believe that is, which, I mean, there's not really much to her, honestly. She's just in the game for a couple seconds, so We'll just put her in meh. And then reporter guy that I can't remember his. Is it Ben? Is it Ben? I mean, his most memorable thing is getting his head crushed in by Mr. X. So we'll just put him in solid. Not good, not bad. He's just kind of there. But I think he's above meh. All right, Carlos. Carlos goes in great. I'm not going to put him in the best, but I think he can go in the top great. So it could be debated that he's better than Rebecca, but I think I want to keep him down here. I mean, he's only in the one game, though he does make quite the impression in 3 and 3 remake. But I do like his personality in 3 remake a lot more than 3. But I'm gonna keep him under the best. I think he's at the top of great. And now we got Nikolai. Nikolai's solid. He's a really good asshole. So he's just gonna go right here. I'm gonna keep. I think his personality wise, like better than Birkin, but Birkin transformed is just more iconic. So we got to put him here. All right. I can't remember his name, but this is Carlos's partner in 3, and yeah, he's solid. He's there for a segment, you know. He's all right. Kind of. I don't remember much about him, but you know, he's there. Serves his purpose. Good character. And then we got the old man who, spoilers, dies on the subway train. Solid. He's cool. We'll put him at the very top of solid just because he goes out like a badass to Nemesis. So we're gonna put him at the top of solid. I honestly don't remember who that is, though I probably should. I recognize his face, but can't place him. I think these are both from 3, I want to say, but my memory's not great. So yeah, I don't remember who they are. I will full on admit. All right, now we got Ashley. Ashley's a hard one because original RE4 Ashley is annoying as all hell, whereas RE remake is Ashley is a lot more bearable and actually kind of cool. So I think it kind of evens out for good. I'll put her above Birkin. So yeah, I think good for Ashley. Why not? And then we get Luis. Luis has got to go in great. I think I'm gonna put him. I'll keep him where he is. I don't know if I like him more than Sherry and Barry. Sherry and Barry. That not kind of rhymes. That does rhyme. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's one of the best parts of RE4 and RE4 remake. Who doesn't like Lewis? All right, so I think next we got Sadler. And Sadler can also do good, and I do like him more as a villain than or why did I call Willie Birkenberry? But yeah, he's a good villain. He's actually not in RE4 a lot in the grand scheme of things, just more that last final segment. But his boss fight's cool. He's a very, very ominous presence throughout the thing. But yeah, we'll put Sadler here. Jack Krauser is going to go great though. I do think he's a very interesting character, especially if you play Dark Side Chronicles, where you get to see the dynamic between him and Leon and how he gets to the point where he is in 4. He's also just badass, but I will keep him at the bottom. I don't know if I like him more than Lewis, but yeah, Jack Krauser's cool. And we get Salazar, which I think he might be the most memorable villain, probably from 4. But I'm going to put him at the bottom. I don't know if he's more iconic than Birkin. He's probably more iconic than Sadler, but this is just kind of my personal ranking. Like, and this whole list is just completely biased if you haven't gotten onto it by now. And I can't remember his name, but he's like the first big main antagonist that shows up in RE4. I've always jokingly called him Rasputin, which is probably why I can't remember his name because of his great big beard. But I think he's cool, and I actually do like him probably more than... He's sort of my favorite boss. Even though he really doesn't do much, I do just like his presence. Like, just a dude shows up and gets shit done. All right, that's where he's going to go. And next we got Hun again. Again, solid. I'll put her above all these other characters as I put her at the top solid, I guess. Since she's Leon's go-to out in the field and kind of pushes the narrative along in parts where she relays information to Leon in 4 and 6 and a few of the movies. So yeah. We'll put Hunnigan up in solid. The Merchant goes in the best. Even though there's really not a whole lot to his character, he's just too awesome. to not be in the best? What can't not be said about the merchant here? All right, we got another helicopter pilot. I think this is the pilot that helps. Is this the pilot that helps Leon out in 4? When you go through the segment of going through all the little camps and shit, I can't remember. A lot of the pilots bleed together, but we'll put him in solid if that's the right character. All right, Sheva. Sheva goes in the best. I like Sheva a lot. I think she is one of Chris's best companions. In fact, I like Sheva quite a bit. We're gonna put Sheva right here. I wish she'd come back in another RE game. I wish they'd remake 5, honestly. If you didn't watch my first video where I made a dumbass tier list, 5 is my favorite Resident Evil, if I haven't already said that already. So yeah, I'd be for a 5 remake where her AI is not the worst thing in the world. So we're gonna put Sheva. Sheva's gonna be in the top 5. Sheva's cool. All right, Excella from 5. She's just kind of meh. She's just kind of there. Kind of just there to be used by Wesker, honestly. Same with Ricardo Irving, even though his dumbass accent is in 5 is just either you find it annoying or hysterical, but I think it's hysterical. But yeah, he's definitely above Excella for sure. I guess he does a little bit more. But all right, we got Josh now from 5. I think Josh goes in great for me. I think Josh is cool, and I think I'm gonna put him up here. He's one of my best, one of my favorite side characters from Resident Evil. And just the part where you're going through like the swamplands and the boat, just some of the stuff he says is funny. But yeah, Josh goes in great, and he's pretty cool in Desperate Escape too. All right, now we got Oswald Spencer, the guy that kind of more or less causes Resident Evil, but you know I should get to see him until 5. He himself, as a character, really doesn't do much in terms of what he's shown on screen. He's pretty much, I mean, he's responsible for Resident Evil because he's Oswald Spencer, the main, the guy that discovers the T-virus and all that good shit. But yeah, I mean, really all he does on screen is just show up and get murked by Wesker. So we're gonna put him in solid, mainly just because of what he's responsible for. Gotta put some respect on his name. All right, now we get into Resident Evil 6. It looks like. So now we get Helena. I feel like a lot of people don't like Helena, but I'm still gonna put her in good, and I think I'm gonna put her in the top of good. Because while she does take a little bit to get warmed up to, I do like her kind of character arc throughout 6. And of course, I like 6 more than probably most people do. So I'm gonna put her top here. I'll put her over Hunk. I'll say that. But the best side character in RE6 is Piers. Piers is probably the best thing come out of RE6. It's a shame that he he gets murked at the end of Chris's campaign, but yeah, Piers is cool. I'll even put Piers up this high. Cool dude, cool sniper guy, his awesome electric powers at the end, which is just way over the top. Piers is gonna go this high and great. And we got Jake. Jake is actually a character I like a lot too. Don't get me wrong, he's ridiculous because he's got, you know, part of Wesker's superpowers and shit, but I do think he's an interesting character, and if we ever got like a sequel to him, it would be a pretty cool Resident Evil game, but like where they're kind of dialing it back to a more restrained survival horror experience. I don't expect a Jake game coming anytime soon, but I'd be for it. I like I like the stupid superhero stuff that sometimes happens in Resident Evil. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad they've dialed it back because it was starting to get ridiculous, but still, I have a soft spot for it. All right, so now I guess we got the main bad of 6, Simmons, which honestly, he's more or less just kind of meh. Like his boss fight sequence is like the longest thing in Resident Evil because it's just 5 different forms that just keeps getting meh. The dude starts out as like a zombie dog that turns into a T-Rex that turns into a giant moth. Like it's just Resident Evil 6 is just equal parts stupid and insane. So he can go at the top of me. He as a character himself is not very memorable or good, but his boss fights can be interesting, if not just stupid. All right, so now we got Carla, the Ada clone from RE6, which she's just kind of solid. You know, she's memorable. She's an Ada clone. Her backstory and stuff is interesting, but again, she's not the greatest thing in the whole world, we'll say. All right, then we have, I don't know who this is. Is it Deborah from 6? Which is Helena's sister? I can't really tell. I'm not really sure, but we'll just put her in meh, and just in case who that is, that's who that is. And again, what a cool boss fight, but I mean, there's really not much to her. And then I think this is the president in RE6. And, you know, just for being the president of the United States, even though he didn't do much, is not in much of the game. Solid. Leader of the free world here. All right. All right, so this is going to be a controversial take for where I have him. But I kind of want to put him in meh, if I'm being honest, but I won't do that. I'm not going to put Ethan towards the top of solid. Ethan's not my favorite character in the series. I think he's kind of bland, which that's kind of his whole purpose since the game in 7 and 8 goes into a first person perspective. Like, and he's just a normal guy, and that's the point. I understand that's the point. But I just find his personality just kind of vanilla and bland, and the story of him finding like looking for his daughter in 8 is a huge step up to his personality in 7. But again, like for me, largely Ethan's just kind of there, and just the story around him is just more interesting than he actually is. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm gonna put Ethan. Same with Mia. She's just kind of meh, just kind of there to me. But I'll be fair and put them next to each other. Why not? So then we got Evelyn. And Evelyn, her backstory is interesting. I'm not going to say she's my favorite character in the world, but I think she can go up here with the Resident Evil 7 stuff. Because her powers and stuff and the backstory, the mold and everything is interesting, and her surprise appearance in 8 also pretty cool. She is, you know, just typical, just terrifying little girl, like Ring Girl kind of thing. But yeah, we'll put her in solid. She's all right. Now, the best character to come out of 7 is Jack Baker. So we're going to put Jack at the bottom and great. I mean, just everything about Jack and the Baker family is good. They're easily the best part of 7 and the most memorable part of 7. So we're going to put Jack here. And then we got Marguerite from 7. And we're just going to put her... I'm going to put her in good. I don't think she's the most interesting of the Bakers, and plus, honestly, her bug form is kind of gross. So just out of personal preference, putting her down here. Then we got Lucas. Lucas is just kind of just brainiac asshole. So we'll put him slightly above. Like, it didn't really. I mean, he doesn't get a grotesque form unless you play through Not a Hero, which is Chris's DLC for 7. But yeah, we'll put him in good. He's a solid. Then we got Zoe. And Zoe, for me, I mean, she's got she helps Ethan throughout the majority of 7, and then the fall of Zoe, or end of Zoe. DLC's not bad. I guess we'll put her right here. Again, she's not terrible by any means. But we'll put her below Ethan. Then we get Joe Baker. I think that's his name. We only played through the episode once, I'll be completely honest, but I remember him being cool. I think we can put him in good. Let's see, he carries the end of Zoe DLC and just beat the shit out of stuff with his fist, which I respect. All right, so then we get the characters from all the tapes and shit, which honestly I don't remember too much. I'm being completely honest, so we'll just put him. I can't remember. That guy looks like Rick Grimes from Walking Dead, so we'll put him at the top. I can't remember just for vibes alone. I do remember him because he's from like the most iconic segment of that. So we'll put him in meh. Put him in meh too. There's the police officer that helps Ethan at the very beginning. Put him in solid because, you know, he tries to do the right thing. And I'm not sure who Bagface is. I'm just not remembering. All right, let me get Rose Winters, which I'll put her in great. I actually enjoyed the Rose DLC from 8 quite a bit. I thought her powers and stuff and how that was handled was really interesting. I thought her story and stuff was pretty good. I think she's definitely a lot more interesting by a pretty significant margin. I wouldn't be against more Rose Winters in the future. But yeah, put her here. I'll put her below Jack, I guess. Below Jack or above Jack? Oh, I mean, we'll put her here. I think that's fair placement for Rose. All right, Mother Miranda. I'm going to say she's just solid. She's a good villain. I don't think she's like the. You know what? I'll put her in good actually. After just saying she's a good villain. I don't think she's as iconic as some of the other villains in her game, which is 8. But I think right here is like a good place for Mother Miranda. And we get Lady Dimitrescu, who stole the show in RE8, and I think the castle part of Resident Evil 8 is probably the best part. So I'm gonna put her up here. Again, I don't like her as much as most people do, which again, respect to all Vampire Lady, but I think I'm gonna put her right here because she moved copies of Resident Evil Village just on her own. All right, then we got Moreau. Moreau to me just kind of meh, just creepy fish man. He's probably got the worst segment of, which is not bad, but it's just probably just the worst segment in 8. But I'll put him above Simmons. Why not? And then we got, I think, what's her name? Donna. I can't say names very well. Was it Donna Bibimenzo or something like that? Bibichin, some Italian sounding name was what I'll say. But yeah, we'll put her here because Bavento, House Bavento, is that what it is? But yeah, I can't say names. But either she has probably the most horrifying segment in in Resident Evil 8 with the giant creepy baby. So while she herself I don't find very particularly interesting, her segment of the game I'll put above Moreau, so we'll put her here. Heisenberg, I think Heisenberg is probably the best character villain wise to come out of 8. I think he kind of steals the show, honestly, and I'm gonna put him above Jack as well. But yeah, Heisenberg's cool as hell, so we're gonna put him in great. And the Duke is Resident Evil 8's merchant, though not as good as the merchant. I will put him at the bottom of good because he's just that interesting. And now we got the daughters of Rescue, who I can't remember their names, but they're solid. They're good villains. They're creepy. They're all about the same. They all die pretty quickly in the story too. But yeah, like they're interesting. They add to the atmosphere of Castle Dimitrescu. So yeah, well, I think solid's pretty good for them. And then we have, we're almost at the end of this finally. Then we have I can't remember her name either, but this is like the first woman that Ethan attempts to save and helps Ethan during the opening part of 8. I don't know if I want to put her in good. I'll put her in solid. I'll put her below. Again, she has a memorable segment, but she's just not in the game enough, honestly. But I'll put her in solid. She deserves that. And this is the a-hole guy that doesn't want Ethan to come into the house. So we'll put him in meh. Which I just realized we haven't even used the bad tier, which I don't think there's anyone inherently bad. I don't think, but we'll put him here. And here's the old woman that helps Ethan early on in RE8. We'll put her in meh for her efforts, and these are just asshole villagers that freak out. That freak out in the very beginning of the game, so let's put him there. And then I don't remember this dude in the beanie. In Shadow of Rose, I think he might be who Rose talks to at the very beginning of the game. I just don't remember his name or much about him, so we'll put him in meh. I know I can't remember tier, but I think I remember enough to justifiably put him in meh. Let me get Chris's squad in RE8, which we'll just put him here in solid. I mean, they got a good run, we'll say. Okay, who's next? Looks like we're gonna cover. Okay. All right, actually, we're gonna change the name of this tier because there actually is a single character in Resident Evil that I despise more than anything. And that character is Steve Burnside. I despise Steve. I fucking hate Steve so much. I can't think of a good thing to say about Steve other than when he dies in Code Veronica. Usually, character deaths and stuff are sad, but I celebrated Steve finally being out of my fucking life when I got to that part in Code Veronica. But yeah, I hate Steve. I hate his whiny voice. I hate everything about Steve. So yeah, good riddance, Steve, and I hope you never appear again. All right. So next we got Alexia Ashford. And I'm going to put her in great because I actually think she is a pretty cool villain. I actually like her transformations in as a final boss in Code Veronica, where she flies around and turns into like the flying, like kind of like out of some Parasite Eve shit, and you're Chris trying to shoot her with the supercharged laser. I like that sequence. I think she's a cool villain. Code Veronica is one of my favorite of the older Resident Evil games, so I'm partially biased here. I'm so biased that I'm going to actually put her above Jack. But yeah, yeah, the the her and her brother are weird. So where do I want to put Alfred Ashford? Where do I want to put him? I'm gonna put him in solid just because he's so weird and creepy, honestly. And I know I've gone like all over spoiler territory in this video so far, but I won't spoil like the big deal of Code Veronica, but that's enough to put him in solid, I think. Like, he's just a weird guy. You should experience the story. And then we get Papa Ashford, who is not really memorable in his normal state, but when he gets when you encounter him as a boss, it's pretty interesting. So I'll put him in solid. We'll put him here. Why not? Oh, Nosferatu. I don't know who that is or what that is or if that even belongs in this. Is that from Resident Evil? I don't. It was here, so we're putting it in. Can't remember. All right, we got Billy. Billy's gonna go at the top of good for me. Like, I think Billy's cool and all. I don't know if I put him in great, but he's a good partner to Rebecca. I wouldn't mind seeing that pairing again in a future Resident Evil game. But yeah, we're gonna put Billy at the top of good. He's unfortunately only been in the one game, so yeah, we're gonna put top of good. Now we get Dr. Marcus, who is I think I'm debating between high solid or the bottom of good. I'll put him high solid. I don't know if he's quite on the level of like a Birkin or Lady Dimitrescu, but the leech monsters and stuff and I like his boss fight at the end of the game. I do like a lot where you're running around doing the sunlight panels and stuff like that. I do find him interesting. So yeah, we'll put him at the top of solid. Now we have this guy who I don't remember. That's not the pilot from RE1, is it? No, that's not Brad Vickers, I don't think. You know, I don't remember him, so it's only fair that I put him. I can't remember. I think this is the protagonist of Resident Evil Survivor, if memory serves, but I haven't actually played that game, so we're gonna put him in can't remember. Same for her. And then we got the Outbreak characters, which when I was a wee lad, I tried to play Outbreak. It's a very hard game to play single player, so I never finished it. So I can't accurately judge the Outbreak or Outbreak 2 or Dead Aim characters, just because I just can't honestly recall much about them. All right, so now, is that a character from Resident Evil? It looks like something out of Metal Gear Solid. Maybe it's just someone I'm not remembering. All right, well, now we're into Darkside Chronicles, and we have the female companion that you're rescuing throughout Jack and Leon's story. I don't remember what her name is. Is it Lucia or something like that? But she's solid. She says her purpose, her lore, and stuff I think is interesting. So we'll put her here. I still don't remember her name. I remember his name because it's ridiculous. It's Javier Hidalgo, which I don't know why that's so funny to me, but probably because he doesn't look like a Javier Hidalgo to me. But he just has the big white slick back hair, the black goatee, and the sunglasses. I just don't know. I find him very humorous, and for that reason alone, and being the main villain of Darkside Chronicles, we're gonna put him here. He deserves it. Now we got Parker from Resident Evil Revelations, who I think is good. I think he's a kind of a corny but charming character. He's a good partner for Jill in her run. I'll put him above. I'll go this high with Parker. Why not? Parker's a good character. I like him in Revelations. Wouldn't mind seeing him pop up in anything else. Or something else. No, we got Jessica. Jessica, up at the top of solid. I don't think she's nearly as interesting as Parker or the other characters that show up. She's just mostly there to hit on Chris Redfield, really. When you're playing as part of the game, even though she is, spoilers, say like double agent if memory serves. But yeah, we're just gonna put her at the top solid. Then we got Raymond. And Raymond, he's interesting as well. But I don't think he's in just enough of the game really to justify being super high, as interesting as he is. So I'll put him like kind of in the middle of solid. And then we get the captain of the BSAA. We'll just put him in meh because he serves his purpose. And I can't remember their names, but this is the two dumbasses that you also play as for a couple segments in Revelations. They're interesting. They're quirky. We'll put them here. I wish I could remember their names. I'm bad at remembering names sometimes. And then we get this dude from Revelations who looks like the guy that plays Count Dooku. So for that reason, he goes here. And this is the main villain. And the main villain of Revelations is kind of the most forgettable part about the game. And his boss fight's super annoying as well. But we'll put him in solid for the boss fight. And then Rachel, again, like, you don't really get to like spend a lot of time with character because spoilers, she's already a zombie when you find her. So we'll put her in solid. I guess her design's cool, so we'll put her here. Now we're into the Revelations 2 characters. We got Moira, which is Barry's daughter from Revelations 2 and Claire's partner in the game. I mean, she's your typical kind of just foul-mouthed kind of character, but she's solid. I don't dislike her. Yeah, she's all right. And then we get Natalia, which is Barry's partner, and she's just kind of meh. Just kind of there. I'm being completely honest. I mean, she's not a bad character by any stretch, but to me, she's just kind of meh. But then we get Albert Wesker, which I do think she's actually a pretty interesting villain. I do like her boss fight when you're playing as Barry and running caves and stuff. We kind of alternate back between Barry and Claire in the helicopter. So we're gonna put her here. I'll put her below the Duke. And then we have this guy, who I can't remember his name, but I remember he morphs into a tyrant at some point. And is kind of a nice guy that turns into an asshole. So we'll put him in solid. And then I remember what segment they're from. I just can't remember their names, but there's a part in Revelations 2 where in Revelations 2, like, everybody has like a bracelet that can eject you at any time. If you get ejected by what's in the bracelet, you turn into a zombie. Go figure. It's Resident Evil. And I can't remember if one or both of them turned into a zombie during this segment, but yeah, I can't remember who they are, so I can't remember their names, so we're just gonna put them in meh. I can't remember this guy's name, but this is the old man who takes Moira in during a segment of the game, and he's pretty cool. Just cranky old man. So he deserves being solid and deserves to be over that guy. All right, well, that is everyone, and this took a little more time than what I thought. But here is my my Resident Evil character tier list to be judged upon. Hopefully, this was enjoyable on some level, as it was just me just randomly ranting about nothing but Resident Evil, which I don't even know if I really said much, but here we are. But yeah, feel free to tell me how my takes are stupid, or if you agree with them, or just tell me who your favorite Resident Evil character is. But if it's not Chris Redfield, I don't really care. I'm kidding. Just feel free to tell me who your favorite Resident Evil character is and why you like him, if you feel like it, or have made it this far in the video. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully this was enjoyable. Maybe I'll do more tier lists in the future of just random stupid crap. Maybe I'll do another like spooky themed tier list before Halloween comes through. I was thinking about doing a survival horror game tier list because it's one of my favorite genres, and ranking them. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I get around to that or not before October's in. But yeah, I'm just rambling at this point because I don't know what to say. But yeah, if you made this far in the video, I do thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.